Welcome to Shadowgate, Dan Reichert.
Oh, hey Brad, how's it going?
It's going all right.
Seems intimidating.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Shadowgate is a scary place, man.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie.
I've never been there.
Many dangers lurk within. You've never been there.
No.
You didn't play the original Shadowgate?
No, it looked
way back when?
It involved reading and menus, which as a child was just way too much to ask of me.
I can understand that.
I have not played Shadowgate.
That's fair. I'm not gonna hold that against you. But there is a new Shadowgate. It has returned. And we are fortunate enough to have Carl Ruffles here, who is an instrumental figure on the new Shadowgate. How you doing, Carl?
I'm fine. It's actually Rulofs.
Oh, Rulofs. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I asked you how to pronounce it before.
I did. I said Ru.
You know what? I think it may have been misspelled in an email at some point as we were setting this thing up.
That happens a lot.
And it's stuck in my head. I apologize.
Don't worry about that. No worries.
But yeah, you are hard at work on the new Shadowgate, which is. Is it a full remake, or is it more of kind of a reimagining? Like, what are we working with here?
Yeah, so the tagline is fantasy reimagined. So basically what we tried to do was we didn't want to do another port, because we've been doing that our whole lives with this game. Back in '84, Dave Marsh and myself made this game initially for the Macintosh. It was the first graphical adventure, and then we ported it to basically every new console or PC that came out at the time, and to Atari and to Commodore and to all those things. So we've had enough of redoing the game over and over and over again. What we really wanted to do was we wanted to take the title and update it for today. You know, we've matured, learned a lot. Hopefully how to tell a better story than we did 30 years ago. And we tied up some loose ends with this version of Shadowgate. So it'll feel somewhat like the original, but it's also updated and will be a new experience for everybody.
Excellent. Well, I know that when I heard this music, I started getting a little tingly, because like this is the music from the original game, at least the NES version, which is the one that I played.
It is, and that's the music that people who have played it on the NES just love to death.
Yep.
So yes, we brought it back. We got the rights to do that from Kemco. So we decided to do a full orchestral version of the soundtrack with just harkening back to the original.
Great. Well, I know you've brought some save games with you, so let's hop right into one. Whichever one you want to start with.
Well, actually, no. How about we just let me start with the new game.
Okay,
here.
sure.
So, just want to touch on a couple things as I do this. There are 3 difficulty modes. You can see Apprentice, Journeyman, and Master. This means that there's 3 styles of the game. The Apprentice mode is for first-time adventurers. The puzzles are easier, and the gameplay is more forgiving. If you played the NES, I'm sure you know that we love to kill the player.
Yep.
Every chance we got. So in the Apprentice mode, you won't die nearly as much.
Okay.
And torches will last longer and stuff like that.
Okay.
The Journeyman is kind of in between the two. A little harder. Puzzles a little bit more expansive. And the Master version is the one for the experienced adventurers, those who want the game to feel more like original Shadowgate, although having said that, it's still different. So
this is definitely not just a one-to-one remake, right? Like
it is not.
Have different scenarios, different puzzles, that kind of thing.
Yes.
Now, when you say harder puzzles, I mean, is it different solutions, or how do you tweak the difficulty on puzzles?
Well, a lot of puzzles have steps. So you got to do this, then this, then this, or get this, or that, and this. So we just cut down some of the complexity of having to put a bunch of things together to make something work.
Okay.
Plus, if you do something wrong, mostly in the Master mode here, there are consequences to pay. So for the Apprentice and Journeyman version, the consequences aren't that bad. You don't get teleported out or get killed or something. So those are kind of the differences.
Okay. With all of that said, I really hope you're going to play on Master now, because I really want to see what that's about.
So we're entering Shadowgate here, and if you remember, we just dumped you into the game in the first one.
Yeah, like when you start a new game, at least the one I played, like you were literally standing in front of the keep, like from minute 1.
Right. So one of the things we wanted to do was tell more of a story. I'm trying not to talk over this on purpose, but I will anyways.
That's fine.
So
we do it all the time.
So this is just trying to set things up more and explain things so that the story makes more sense. You know, instead of just being dumped in a castle and now what do I do? This should hopefully make sense while you're there.
Yeah, you guys brought a lovely cloth map with you, and I have to say, we are huge fans of cloth maps around here. But like the map is not just of Shadowgate; it's of like kind of a huge surrounding area. You know, a lot of other geographical locations and stuff. So like,
yeah. So
does that mean you guys are kind of expanding on the world that this takes place in?
We are exactly. So you know, back in the day, we came up with a design called Beyond Shadowgate, and we were over halfway done with making that game when the plug was pulled.
Oh no!
Yes.
Are you kidding?
No.
So there is like a half-finished other Shadowgate game out there on a hard drive somewhere?
There is. It's well on a hard drive probably, but something that you probably can't access.
Or like some kind of tape backup or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. But I have design books on my desk that I have 4 of them, probably about 400 or 500 pages of the actual design.
Oh, that kills me.
So, you know, the plan is if we're successful with this, we're going to do Beyond Shadowgate.
Oh, so do you guys still own all that work? I mean, you're free to. Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got the exclusive rights to redo Shadowgate, Deja Vu, and Uninvited.
Okay.
Those are the main games.
I've never actually never got around to playing those other two.
So yeah, Uninvited is a horror game,
right.
and Deja Vu is a,
kind of a noir,
yeah, exactly,
detective sort of thing.
Private detective.
Yeah,
Right.
oh, that makes me want to go back and play those finally.
But you know, our goal is to bring Shadowgate back first and to tell the other stories that we couldn't tell.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now as you see, this is where you get dumped off here. So instead of just dumping you off with a couple paragraphs of text, we give you some backstory, and hopefully it's a little exciting. Let me talk about the UI here a little bit. So we've got commands up top. This is a graphical adventure, if it's not obvious. And we have all these commands which you can do on just about anything in the game. So things are selectable, and you can look at things, and then you get a text response on it. You can take, open, close things. So let's just do a couple things. We'll talk about, oh hey, this guy just talked to us. He wants to be picked up. So there's a lot of interaction in the game. The world will kind of talk back to you and do things back to you.
Yeah, that was one of the things I loved about the original game. I mean, obviously the visual style was a lot more rudimentary, but it still felt like nothing in the scene in front of you could be taken for granted. You know, like practically everything there maybe had some use or could be manipulated in some way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and this one is no different. So you know, there's lots of things in here you can click on and look at. You know, and you can speak to things. So let me take this guy because there's a key underneath. So we're still in beta. You can see a couple glitches on some of the animation. We're about 4 to 6 weeks or so from going live. You know, so the target date is August, and we're just getting down to the wire and putting all of our final polish on the game.
How many people do you have working on this remake?
There's about 10.
Okay.
You know, the brunt of those are part-time.
Okay.
Because they have day jobs. Because you know our Kickstarter didn't make us millionaires or anything like that.
Sure.
So, but we still want to do the game. We're excited to have the money we have to make it. So, you know, a couple of us are just working full-time on this, and in the hopes that it will be successful.
How many other people do you have from the original games working on it?
Well, it's just Dave and I.
Okay.
So,
but you're kind of the two guys, right?
We're the original designers of the game. So. We're the ones who, you know, he's been my best friend since high school. So we just stayed in touch and near each other throughout our lives. So that's why it's us, you know. So as you see, I actually unlocked the door. I'm going to open it up. So we got all these commands there. I can click a command and do something. There's a couple other things I want to show about the UI here. So I got a torch down here. I could use the torch on something. Let's say I use it on myself. You know, so the text tells me what's going on there. The smell of burnt flesh fills my nostrils. And there was a sizzle sound there, which was very loud. But there's another thing I can do. Instead of just clicking use and that, I can sit there and I can make a quick use. So that requires selecting the torch, hitting Control 1, and you see the little 1 down there?
Okay.
So anytime I hit 1, and I'm doing right now, hit 1, it says use the lit torch on what.
So basically keybinds on objects. That's
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
That's cool.
Can you map that to any number?
Yes, 0 through 9. So,
That's cool to see. You know, like I said, having played through the original game on an NES controller, it's nice to see some streamlining like that.
Is the NES version the one that fans typically point to as like the main version, or is that the most successful one?
You know, it was the one that is the most successful. So that's the one people remember the most.
Yeah, I don't think it was even until years later that I realized there were other versions of that game.
Yeah.
You guys did the Mac version, wasn't that like didn't that like predate color graphics? I feel like
Yeah, so it's black and white. You got
it was like
you got it exactly. So,
right.
yeah, and that's what, 1 bit? Because you've got black and white.
Sure,
That's it.
Sure,
So,
it's either on or off, basically.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, let's head into the keep here.
Let's do that.
I want to see what's going on.
So I'm just going to hit G for go. So that's
Okay.
another quick command. And then I click the door instead of having to go up. So
Oh, the glowing eyes.
if you remember the original,
Yep.
Send a child to do that.
here's your buddy
Even the vaunted
ridiculing you.
could not contain my growing power. Come if you wish. It makes little difference. Seal your fate within this living castle of the dead.
Do you kind of see what we did there? Living castle of the dead,
sure.
living dead. See that?
Sure.
That's pretty cool, huh?
So when you're designing a game like this, do you have to have text for every possible interaction between an object in the environment and any of those commands? Like if you hit eat torch, I mean, is there something for that?
Well, that's actually that was an interesting one. I don't think there's an eat torch.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have interactions that are generic, but having said that, eat torch may be kind of a fun one to do something, and that's where our beta testers have been coming in and helping us out quite a bit by saying, hey, shouldn't this do this? And it's like, yeah, you're right. I'm going to put that in. You know, so we've been having some great success during our beta test, which is still underway, and people can still get into. So I'm gonna do a couple things here. So I just hit my lit torch. Use a lit torch on that one, and hey, it lights up. I'm gonna take that just for grins there. There's a strange lever on the ground. We can look at it. Hey, you know, when you see a lever, pull it. So I can do a couple things. I can use myself on the lever. I could have done a quick use for myself as well, or I can hit use, double click, and that's using myself. We have lots of shortcuts to try to give people the ability to play in any way they want. Okay, you know, if you like to use the keyboard, it's there. If you like to do if you just like to slowly go around and scroll, it's there. If you want to mostly click, you can also lock commands. So I can look, and then I can look at that. I can look at the rug. I can look at this, and I can see everything, you know, fairly quickly and
Sure.
efficiently. So let's get out of this room. Go take a look at the next room.
So obviously, it seems like mouse and keyboard is the ideal way to play. But do you guys have any controller support for people who are playing from the couch?
Not yet,
Okay.
no. So we're going, you know, it's mouse and the keyboard, Mac and PC first.
Okay.
We're moving on to the tablets, and then we'll look at other things that we may want to support.
Okay.
So I can double click the door to open it. So there's shortcuts with obvious things, like here's an open doorway. If I double click it, what should happen, do you think?
Click to go through.
There you go. Makes total sense to me. So this is the trap room, if anybody remembers it back in the day.
Vaguely, I feel like something bad happens if you pick up that book. Maybe. I might be wrong.
Yeah, but let's not do that. Let's
It's been a long time. When did the NES version come out? It was like 87, 8, something like that.
Yeah, I want to say 8 or 9 to be honest.
Wow,
but
okay.
it could have been 87. So.
Is there a certain amount of trial and error in the series to where like, oh, I'll pick up that book and then a boulder falls on your head or something? Is that
Yes.
That's
So-
definitely how I remember this game.
Right. So you know, there's if you saw the room text, you know, there's like some hints when you entered the room, and right here, the damp, musty breeze wafts from behind an altar set within the stone archway. So there's a breeze coming from there. That may give you the idea that there's something behind, you know, and there actually is. It's right there, you know. So we try to give clues and stuff like that. If you look at the closed book, there are Trying to remember which one. So there are clues embedded in here as well. Want to show you this feature.
Oh, cool. It's kind of
So we have a map.
Right.
We went through 3 rooms, and if you see this little piece here, it's called a map node, and it's the thing. It's this piece right here. So we try to highlight interesting places and things that may mean something or may not in the game. We're just trying to give you, we're basically doing some notes for you to help you play the game.
kind of a way to annotate stuff that might be useful later, or that you might need to come back for.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the original game did not have a map that I remember. Is that right?
It did not.
Okay,
correct.
yeah, it was kind of easy to get lost.
We had an exit box in the corner.
Right.
And you see that's no longer here. You can, if there's an exit, go click on it. If you need to go backwards, it's down here with the back arrow.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to go into this room because coming up should be the room you remember. So this is a similar room from the original Shadowgate, but it's different. Okay.
Okay.
There's this thing here, some sort of strange thing made of ice and cold. Let's try to take it. I can't. So can't do anything with this guy. Maybe it'll be interesting enough to come back later. There's something up here. That's a big arachnid. My goodness. Let's try to.
Let's just leave that there.
Well, let's try to burn it and see what
Oh, I don't think you should let that out.
Oh, it's much too small, so I can't do anything with that. But if I go to the map, look, a little reminder, you had you found the arachnid up there.
Here's this giant frozen spider that you
Yes.
should never return to ever.
So let's go through this ominous door here. Actually, before we do that, so Yorick makes comments for you. That's who we picked up in the beginning there. You can speak to him to get hints as well. He's kind of your companion. So, unwanted or not, he's along for the ride. So you saw I used a torch on the ice because I know how the game works, so I can do that. But players can try anything they want.
Sure.
I could have tried hitting. There's another ice block there. Nothing really happens there. I could try my dirk on it if I really wanted to.
You mentioned on easy the torches burn out faster. I mean.
No, vice versa.
Oh, or slower. I'm sorry. But,
yes, correct.
But I mean, especially like on Master, how long are we talking here? Like, is there some urgency to your movements? Do you really need to be moving around and figuring stuff out quickly? Like, what happens when the torches all burn out?
Right. Well, when the torches are burned out, it's dark, and if it's dark and you're stumbling around the castle, you have a good chance of killing yourself.
Okay.
So,
but you can keep going. It's not like an instant game over if you run out of light or something.
It isn't, but it's a good probability it will. The trap room had some candles in it that were always lit.
Okay.
So you have chances to go back and to light previous things.
Okay.
Okay. So it's not totally game over, but that's one of the reasons why we have save and load.
Right.
It's important to save your game early and often, I think was the phrase.
Okay. Do you guys have just kind of the standard quick save setup? Or?
We do. It's F5, I believe it is.
That is a good key to put quick save on.
Yeah. So under the options, you see all the keybinds. You can do the quick save. Here's all the inventory tabs. I didn't touch on those, but I think you may have seen them already.
Okay.
And then all the commands there.
What's the outfit business? Are there different?
There's different things you can put on. So
Okay.
let's go take a look. Let's do this first.
Okay.
Do you think easy will be pretty accessible to newcomers that don't have a lot of experience with this genre?
That's the hope. We want to make it so that they can kind of play through and experience the game. You can experience the full game. It's just, but you're not going to get every single content that we have in there because we feel the hard master mode is the mode that has everything. That's the ultimate experience to us. So.
Can you adjust difficulty on the fly, or are you locked in?
No, you're locked in.
Okay.
So when you save the game, it will be in hard mode, medium,
Okay.
or master, journeyman, and apprentice.
Right.
So here we got a dragon. I don't know if you remember it from the NES days.
Totally.
Since I know what to do, I will use the shield on myself instead of taking it first, which is not quite the right way of doing it. So instead of the 8-bit flame, we get lovely fire. Note that his shield is up there.
Okay, so that's all reflected up there.
Yeah. The outfit, so things you can wear go in the outfit. Things you can read, books and scrolls go here. All the items go in here. Spells, I don't know if you saw, but I learned that spell already.
Okay, cool.
So,
I totally forgot that there was magic, actually.
Yes. So I'm going to take a couple other things.
Okay, so basically every time you jump forward to grab something is when he's attacking.
Yeah, so it's kind of a turn. It's turn-based. So you do something, then the game responds back.
Right.
If it will, So for like the easy mode, you may get some extra moves to do this.
Okay.
If you notice, if you're reading it, the shield protects you. It glows red. So the shield is degrading every time you stick around in the room. So I'm gonna grab that thing.
What's that? Skull wasn't wearing glasses, was it?
I think it might have.
No, like, oh my god, that's
Sweet.
I might make that my new user avatar on.
Well, you
everything.
can also do this. Let's do this. I'm hitting use the dirt on the skull.
Okay.
Now because I'm in the room, he's doing this.
Yeah. Oh, even when you do things that aren't.
Yes, because
kind of
it's a
intruding into the
turn.
room.
So now the glasses are off. They're actually in my outfit.
Okay.
And just because I'm cavalier about it, I just put on my John Lennon glasses there.
Nice. Oh crap.
But while I was doing that, my shield was going up.
Okay.
So it's not good to kind of dilly-dally in this particular room.
Sure. Oh, that's great.
So, that's kind of a sequence there that should be very familiar to SNES players. I can skip my cutscenes.
Right.
So when you play, you're not forced to, if you die, you're not forced to kind of do it all again.
Right.
If you didn't happen to save your game.
Do you guys have any autosave at all? Yeah, it looks like you do there.
So we have autosave. So there are like, for the hard, for the master mode, there's probably like 5, 7, 10 rooms. We'll just save for you all the time.
But not
just
every
no
single
room.
single room you go into though.
For the easy mode, we have more autosaves. So
Okay.
if you forget to save, you hit resume and you can go back or just load this autosave.
Okay.
Here's your Quicksave slot that's just dedicated to that.
Right.
And then here's some various.
Manual.
Yep.
Okay. Do you want to hop into one of those maybe?
Yep.
Show some stuff from a little later on.
Yep. Let's do that. So I'm gonna go to the banquet room here. So this is later on. The banquet room did not look like this. It was a banquet room, of course, in the original one. We got a nice stained glass window there. So there's things to do in this room, but we're just going to do something different.
Whoa.
So if you notice, this is a save point that I saved. I've done lots of things. I've got lots of stuff. There's lots of other things in my inventory. Here's, follow the path of the ancients. Here's like a clue to something, that will help you out later on in the game. So everything's important, but not everything is necessary, if that makes sense.
Sure.
Because there are red herrings and things that won't really lead to anywhere, because that's why it's a puzzle game. So I got this key from somewhere else, and I'm going to open up this particular door. I'm going to double click to open it. I can double click to go to it like we talked about. So movement is fairly quick. So I got click to continue. That means something is happening right now, and all action stops until you.
Whoa.
So instead of just throwing it up in your face, we want to make sure you're ready for it. So we kind of pause the game a bit there.
Since you've got that little cue that something's about to happen, would you have been able to turn around and escape before it happened, or are you pretty much locked in at this point?
Well, you're locked in, but in some instances you may be able to escape these guys, but I know that if I try, that's a bad thing, okay? These are the goblins. They're kind of, you run across these a lot in the castle, and this is one of the later dealings with them. I'm going to use a spell, and they're teetering unsteady. They're dazed, so to speak, because of the bright flash of light, and because I'm awesome. So, I can hit him and he falls down. And York then says, never hurts to cheat a little bit now and then, eh? So, here's another wearable item. So I can just hit T, which you guys can't see, but I just did.
Take your word for it.
If I really want to, I can put that on, so. And I've got a nice little shoulder piece there. So I can switch out my helms, There's helm on there. I can switch out all this other stuff if I really want to.
I mean, I know it's not like an RPG per se, but is there a way to tell, like, this helmet's better than this one? Like, is it all in the flavor text?
It's all in the flavor text, and if you need to wear something, you know, that's hinted in the text. Not everything that you can wear really does much of anything. It's just fun, goofy things to do. So,
such as John Lennon glasses.
Yes, although those may help you. You never know. So here's one thing that the original Shadowgate did not have, and I'll just touch on this real quick. So one of the things people ask, why do you reimagine it? Well, some things just didn't make sense. If you remember the towers in the original game, they had, Brad, I think you said you remember the Sphinx?
Yes.
They had you going up a ladder to the Sphinx room, and from the Sphinx room there were stairs going up to another room. So you go from room to room to room.
Right.
We just tried to make the architecture make a little bit more sense.
Okay.
So you're spiraling around a tower, and there's rooms off of it. Okay. Just, you know, just a couple things we just want to make, you know, make it a little bit more logical.
Are those things that have bugged you for the last 30 years? It's just like, I wish we had done this a little differently.
Is that coming through too clearly?
You know.
Yeah, you know, there are things you look at and you go, okay, that's a decision we made and that's fine. But now, since we're doing this, we can redo it, right? So
you've kind of got your second chance to revisit the whoa.
If you remember, if anybody remember who's watching this, there used to be a woman chained to the wall
I think I do
at the top of a tower.
Yeah.
This is an example of a reimagination. She is not a woman chained to the wall. She is someone specific that we made sure added to the story.
Okay.
So she's, you know, a bit of a, she's a character that we just introduced.
Yeah.
You have limited interaction with her here, but she's expanding upon the story, and we never really got to do that in the original game. So
yeah, like what story there was very much like just kind of implied.
Yeah, and it was,
before.
you know, go get things to do things.
Right.
And you know, there was a prophecy that was underlying everything, which underlies this too, but we just try to fill in things more. So, and like a cutscene like this, you get a couple clues. That's Lackmere. He barricaded himself within his tower. And he has something. So now, you know, we're trying to give you also clues through the cutscenes as well.
A little bit more motivation about why you're here. And
I can, like I said, I can skip cutscenes at any time. She's mostly done, so I would just do that. And she's now going to be transforming there. So there she is, and there's lots of stuff here I want to do, you know, but I can't until I deal with her. So let's see what. So there's, the changeling leans in close and with a snarl of hatred takes a bite out of your face. Isn't that lovely?
Oh. So deaths come pretty quick in this, it seems.
It can, yes.
What a pity.
pretty much one wrong move, right?
Well, you know, yeah, especially for the master mode. You know, that was kind of a hallmark of the original games, and we embraced that, and we just wanted to have fun with it because people remember that fondly. Let me show you something here that is fun. So speaking of deaths, I'm going to go here, and I don't know if anybody remembers, but I've got another save. I've done a bunch of things. I've set myself up a bunch of ways. I've got bunches of different things. Not too many spells. But I have a quick key for the hammer, which is that, and I'm going to use it on... So, hidden death mode. Because of the deaths were such a popular thing, we wanted to make sure that we have some fun with it. And there are certain deaths within the game that are more special than others. And you get a cutscene with them.
You attempt to scream, but quickly realize there is no air. Your lungs release their last bit of air, then begin to swell, along with the rest of your internal organs. You have found a hidden death. 'Tis a sad thing that your adventures have ended here.
So this is hidden death 1, implying there's others, and there are.
Kind of a stand-in for like standard collectibles.
Well, yeah, that's actually an interesting way of putting it.
Yeah.
So, we have a bunch of achievements.
Okay.
Something like this is just for winning the game. This is for doing it in certain modes.
Oh wow! I didn't know you were tracking turns.
With turns.
Is there a way to see how many turns you've taken, or is that a hidden statistic?
There are turns on the save screen.
Okay.
I believe.
So you can at least keep track of kind of how efficient you're.
So, and all these under here are unlocked, but you can see we've got a ton. And we had a ball with this one. We just had some fun.
Just Harryhausen. It's pretty good.
You can, tidy up the castle.
Yeah.
All the special deaths. So there's hidden deaths, and there's a couple other deaths that aren't hidden but are just special. And if you get all those, you get the Reaper Award.
Okay,
so
cool.
this speaks to the replayability. We want to make sure people had the ability to go back in the game and do something, not just play the whole thing over again. But do other things, because we want people to kind of explore the world and just have fun in it. We've done some interesting interactions, and we want people to find those, and they're just goofy and fun and don't mean anything to the game, but if you find them, it should be funny. We want to get people smiling and laughing at some of our responses.
As their entrails are ripped from their abdomens. Okay, one last thing. I really want to see what this retro mode is about.
All right, so I'm going to turn it on. So right now, I'm going to have to quit the game.
Okay.
And restart it. We're fixing that, but that'll get this portion of it.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm actually,
Whoa.
yeah, you'll see that in a second. So.
Okay.
So I've noticed there's no like traditional like HP or health bar or anything. Like, do most of the deaths come pretty quick as far as like when you're doing that back and forth battling?
Yeah, like with the shield is a good example of something that's actually protecting you.
Oh man.
And that loses like turns, so to speak. And then, yeah, I mean, one shot and you're dead, But we also wanted to make sure that we just didn't kill people too unfairly. So if you do something stupid, like accidentally use a dirk on yourself, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt and give you a clever response. If you do it again, we'll give you another benefit of the doubt. If you do it a third time, you're probably going to die because it seems like you want to do that. So I'm going to go to the footbridges.
You can't protect somebody from themselves forever.
Whoa.
So this was a fun little feature. So we've got the 8-bit mode going with the scroll text for all of our NES people who remember that. We've got the music in the background. I can, right now, if I want to, I can play with the music and the graphics will be fine.
Okay.
So, if you want to try to play with that way, that's all good. I'm going to turn it back on for a second here. And let's go to this rickety old bridge. Oh. So it creaks and sway, but I still go anyways, because I'm awesome.
Always ends with the sickening thud. Hey!
Hey.
I remember that guy. That guy's a jerk.
We brought him back, so for this mode only.
That's cool. And you won't have to unlock any of the retro stuff? Is it just there from the beginning?
It's there. We
Okay.
just kind of are giving you, the ability to play however you want, whenever you want with that. So, as you can see, we're still working with. So we're still in beta and we're still tweaking some things. We're adding some stuff to retro mode too to make it feel even more like Nintendo. And we'll see how fully playable it is. When you get the text, some of the cutscenes will not be 8-bit, so you can read the text.
Okay.
So we want to try to make it as playable as possible, and not annoy people. And some people may be annoyed by the sound or the music and want the orchestral. That's fine. So.
Excellent.
Yep.
Carl, I have to confess, my nostalgia is reaching a fever pitch here. We are going to take a real quick pause here, and then we've got a little surprise for you. So stick around for just a second.
Alrighty.
Carl Ruloff's This Is Your Life.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't let you come in here without taking a quick look at this game.
Oh my gosh.
Let's just hop in from the beginning. I mean, I'm kind of happy that you showed us the very beginning of the new game.
All right.
Because it'd be kind of a cool way to contrast with.
So I'm just trying to remember everything to do here with the original game.
Yeah.
So there you go.
There's that music.
How long's it been since you played this?
You know what? It has been quite quite a while.
I mean, I'm curious, like, what kind of reference material did you guys have around as you were working on the new game? I mean, were you largely working from like memory and original design stuff, or
memory? I cannot tell you how many times I've played this game.
So you didn't exactly sit there with every version and port running all the time?
No.
Okay.
No, we did not.
Okay. But yeah, like Dan, for you, I mean, it's kind of a neat little history lesson, I guess.
Yeah.
Like this is the Shadowgate that I remember.
Well, I would often like rent a game like this because I saw the box art and it's like, oh, that looks cool. It's got a dragon and a castle, and I take it home and the instant I saw a screen like this, I was like, I'm just gonna put in Mega Man again or Punch Out. Like it just seemed really confusing. This game was interesting for me because I growing up, we didn't have a computer in my house until I was well into high school, so this was more of a computer style game back in the 80s. Like this is what you expected on a computer, and not having access to that, like. Getting to play like a game like this on the NES was like a huge deal. Well, and so did games like, Myst and those kind of games come from this?
I would. Carl, what do you think? I mean, I think this game is.
I don't know if you remember Beyond Zork.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of games that were text-based adventures.
Right.
So, you just type in "Go West," "Go East," and it would give you text. So Shadowgate was one of the first to be a graphical adventure,
right? Where
we actually showed you the interface, or what you saw in the first-person perspective. But this is now in contrast to our lovely animation of and voiceover from the Warlock Lord. And how grand is this hallway, huh?
I don't have a problem with it. I think it's pretty grand.
So I can use. Card, right? Oh no, it's up there.
I think that's for inventory pages.
I think it is.
I totally forgot there was a key behind that skull out there. I fired this up a little bit before you were here, and like I was messing around and could not remember how to open this door.
So as you see, there's a closet here.
Yep.
We replaced that with something else.
Yep, I remember that.
If you remember that.
Before you move on, can you use torch on rug?
Oh sure.
Yeah,
and yes, everybody, this is as hard as it looks.
Yeah. So yeah, like that blew my mind when I was a kid. That everything in all these environments was something you can interact with. It's like you use a torch on a rug. Like of course it's going to burn up.
Yeah, an interesting story is that we really didn't believe that Kemco could make this game. We just kind of said, they approached us.
Uh-huh.
And, because the Japanese market was kind of bigger into these types of games on console.
Really?
And we kind of went, I don't think you can do it. And they came back and they did it.
So did they do a lot of the heavy lifting on the development of this version?
Yes.
Okay.
We did, interesting thing was so they translated to Japanese.
Okay.
They took our design and modified just a few things.
Okay.
But
I had no clue.
And then we took the Japanese version was translated back into English.
Okay. So I had no clue that they did the development of this, or that this came out in Japanese in Japan. Like I always thought this was just like a straight port from PC.
As the POW screen.
Yep.
So as you see, that's similar to the trap room we were in. Right. And then this box appeared, so I can go in here. And we didn't go into the similar room. Little tidbit for everybody: the arrow's pointing the way to go.
Huh.
If you never even knew that.
I feel like something bad happens if you pick up that arrow, but then again, I feel that way about everything in this game.
No, the bad part is. Let's see. Let's go up there.
Can you take the arrow off the wall?
Right.
Oh. They didn't kill me. Yes, I can. We have an arrow in our game, and it's important as well. It's just utilized differently.
Okay.
So let's tell you what. Let's end. This was always the flaw.
Oh, you can't
you had a wrong command selected. So.
Right, like you have to hit move before. Like it's not smart enough to know you just want to go back.
Right. And I may be doing something wrong because I'm not that familiar with it.
Oh, come on, this game's only like, what, 25 years old? I'm glad we're looking at this version just because it does contrast the streamlining to the UI you guys have done. You know, like it was a little bit of a chore to play this game with a controller.
Yeah, and I remember one, you know, so when the game first came out, I seem to remember it was in like fall or winter, so right around Christmas, and we had a New Year's party, and a bunch of people were over, and everybody wanted me to play this game. So, and I was just not in the mood to do that. So I just blew through it really, I mean, I did. I blew through it really quickly in like 30, 40 minutes, but it's a bear to do. Yeah. You know, so here's the Dragon Room. Yep. And you know what, I may even be doing this. It's possible I could be doing this incorrectly, so we may die right off the bat.
Just make sure you take the shield first.
Well,
I hope that's right.
Does it take? Yeah.
I think so.
Let's try it.
Or wait, no, maybe it's, nope, you might be dead.
You got it.
Oh no, okay, you do, okay. I didn't know if you had to equip it or not.
So this was one difference between the original game and the NES. You know, so there were some differences like that because they probably felt it was too hard for that concept of wearing things.
That's right, yeah, you just have things in an inventory in this.
Right. So let's, you know.
Does your shield degrade in this one too?
I think so. I feel like, yep.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
That skull doesn't have sunglasses.
No,
I like the new one better.
Yep, totally.
And dig that 8-bit sound.
Oh, it's great.
Wow, it's even difficult to kill yourself in this game. But I picked up the skull.
Uh-oh.
So
oh no. Oh no.
Oh, jeez.
Yep, you're done.
And there's our friend right there.
I don't remember how the saving worked in this, or the, I mean, can you pretty much, okay, so you continue like, like a room or two back? Right, okay.
So then yeah, the card, like you said. Oh, okay, yeah, there's a spell tab in there. Yep, goods and spell. I think it was only one save game, so you can only save your point.
Right.
So, well, there you have it.
Yeah, you know, like I said, I really liked this game back in the day. I just felt like it was something pretty special compared to all the other stuff that was coming out on the NES at the time.
It was certainly different, and it was, you know, I hear from a lot of people, it was an introduction to graphic adventures.
It absolutely was for me, yeah. Like when we finally did get a computer kind of 93, 94, like yeah, I kind of dove headfirst into like all the Sierra adventure games and stuff because I played stuff like this. Well, thanks so much for coming by. I'm really glad that we got to sit down and do this. This is I feel like I'm 8 or 9 years old again to some extent. I may have to go back and oh, I love this music too. I may actually have to go back and play more of this version in advance of the new one. So do you guys have a specific date in August that you're shooting for
you know,
the new game?
It's mid-August. We're still kind of really getting the date down, but we feel we only have like you know, 4, 5, 6 weeks of polish left to do. The beta people have been wonderful, giving us great stuff to think about and add. You know, so we're close.
Cool. Do you guys have a final price point in mind yet?
$19.99 is the price point. So.
Okay. Excellent.
So well, let's, on this note,
jump in that slime. Yep. You were slimed. Oh, this game's great.
Let's hope your adventures are just starting with Shadowgate.
Yeah, sure.
How about that?
Carl, thank you for making this game and the new game. I'm very excited to play it.
It's my pleasure, guys.
Excellent. Thanks again for being here.
All right, thank you.